Who am I? Chris Record. The first question I usually get a lot is that your real last name? Record, like a record breaker, like a record setter, like a record player. Yeah, that's my real last name. That's my full name, Christopher Record. So, you know, I've basically been in this industry for a while. I got my start in, I want to say 1998 is when I designed my first website ever. And the reason I got started at such a, you know, so far back was because I was introduced. I was working at a restaurant. I was a busboy. Maybe I was a waiter. I don't even think I had graduated to being a waiter yet. I was only probably 20 years old or something. And somebody in that restaurant pitched me on network marketing. They pitched me on this vision for this company. It was actually, for those of you that are in network marketing, it was a company called New Skin, but he didn't tell me the name of the company. He just pitched me on all these millions of dollars that I could be making or whatever. I can't recall the pitch. But all of us busboys were there. He was a waiter. We looked up to him. And he invited us to go out to, of course, San Francisco, which is not where I live right now, but this is where I went to drive to that presentation. I watched this guy who floated on air. I mean, this guy was amazing. He floated on air. He was the most professional, polished speaker I'd ever heard in my life back then. His name was Nathan Ricks. For those of you that are, you know, have been in the industry for a long time, this guy was probably making millions, but I had no way to verify it. Anyways, he got on in front of us there at that meeting, and he pitched us on this concept called Big Planet. And it was this spin-off of this network marketing company. Now, back in 1998, what I liked about it was a technology company. They had, you know, iPhones, not the iPhones we have today, not these kind of iPhones, but actually they had this weird video conferencing phone way ahead of its time. They had these digital products that were going to be super cool. So I just was salivating at the mouth going, wow, these products are going to be the future, and I can make a ton of money by selling them and recruiting other people to sell them. But one product stood out over all of them. It was this product called DWP, which stood for Dynamic Web Page Builder. DWP, whatever it was. It was like WordPress. And basically, for just a couple $100s, that was the wholesale cost, I could get this like website in a box, and I could sell it to small business owners, and I could mark it up as much as I wanted, $500, $1,000, whatever, and I make the difference. So what I did was, I was new to network marketing. What I did was I latched onto one product, and I started going door to door to door, business to business, trying to sell that product. And I failed for the most part. And at the time, I was attending a junior college. I was a high school dropout. I was giving it an effort to try to go to college, but I really didn't care for junior college. I was that kid that was trying out the classes but not committing to paying, and I was flat broke. I was living in a 250 square foot studio in Santa Cruz, California. I mean, I was broke. I mean, I don't know what I made, maybe $1,000 a month. I don't know. It just was no money. I was, you know, coffee and top ramen was my deal. And so what happened was, I was in this class, this marketing class at this junior college, and the teacher was talking, and this is true. Now, this is to really understand my pivotal point of my whole career. It was here. This is about 1998. And it was in a marketing class at Cabrillo College, which was a junior college in Santa Cruz, and I was not even enrolled. I was just checking out the class. You had a certain date you could enroll by. And I was there, and the teacher said, this is crazy, in 1998, the teacher said, one of the students, which were mostly adults, I don't know why the junior college are mostly adults taking a marketing class, one of the students asked the teacher, should my business get a website? And the teacher actually said, to the best of my recollection back then, that it was unsure to get a website. She didn't think it was a good use of time because the internet was still a fad. The internet had not proven itself. Now, this was 1998, and I was in the class, and I wasn't even attending. I hadn't even taken any tests or anything, right? I was just there, you know, monitoring it. And I raised my hand and said, well, hold on. You know, Amazon.com, all these big sites. I'm repeating all this stuff from this network marketing pitch, right? I'm like, all these big sites are there. And how is it possible that we shouldn't be getting a website? Any business that doesn't get a website is going to get lost in the dust. Now, all the class turns on me suddenly because there's this debate. A student is responding to the teacher that way. So the teacher says this. She says, what's your name? I said, Chris. She said, well, how about this? If you really believe in this, why don't you come up to the front of the class, and why don't you spend a minute or two and share with everybody why you think that they should get a website? So this is my first time ever public speaking that I can recall in my life. My first time ever. I walk to the front of this class. There's maybe 40 people in there, mostly all adults that have little small businesses around town. And I give them this little network marketing pitch. Now, I leave out the recruiting and all that part, but I give them this vision for the internet, all this stuff I had learned from these slideshows, right? All these websites, all this stuff, repeating this guy, Nathan Ricks. And people were blown away. Even the teacher was blown away. And I was repeating statistics of new people are getting online, you know, that fast every second. It's funny, actually, now that I think back, that's exactly what it was. A new person just got online. A new person just got online. That's funny, in 1998. Now there's no way you could even snap fast enough. Here we are, you know, years later. So what happened was very, very cool. At the end of class, this is completely true, right? This is just crazy. At the end of class, about 3 of those local business owners approached me and said, hey, would you be willing to design us websites? And if so, what would you charge? And I didn't know how much. So I just said, sure, you know, $300. $300 each, roughly that. I think it was about $1,000. So I made about $1,000 for my first public speaking appearance at a junior college I had not even registered for, and I was a high school dropout, and about $1,000 in one setting. So I knew that 1, the internet was the future, that 2, that people wanted to pay money for people to do services for them, to be able to set stuff up. But I had never designed a website before. I had no clue. All I knew is I had this product that could do it. So basically I went to bat and I started designing those websites, and to be honest, they all sucked. I wasn't any good back then, but that's where it started. That led me to getting about 30 or 40 small businesses around town, and then the search engine started coming out, and all those businesses wanted to be listed in the search engine. So what I did was I started learning SEO. So then my background switched from designing web pages to search engine optimization. I started learning when Google came out, and back then I was doing things like Alta Vista and Lycos and I don't know, web crawler. I can't recall these search engines back then, and I didn't have a computer. I didn't even own a computer. Okay, so I was going to the library at the junior college during the day. I still had not even paid to attend. I was at the library there where they had the internet, and I was just designing websites on this little program because you didn't have to install it. It was like a website you could go to. And I was just designing websites and studying all this stuff, and I was self-taught. There wasn't much information out at the time, or at least you couldn't find it. For those of you that remember Alta Vista back in the day, you search for something, it's like a million irrelevant results, right? So this kind of, I pursued this business, making, you know, $1,000 a month or so while I was building network marketing. I eventually left that company, but I kept selling those products. But I left that company and got into a spinoff of Amway. It was called Quickstar, and I started doing that company and basically struggled not making any money for about 5 years in network marketing, but thinking I was going to get rich. But during that struggle, I always was doing website design and search engine optimization. And then everything changed 1 year. Everything changed in 1 month, actually, for me. What happened was Google had come out, and I was learning how to get sites ranked in Google. Blogs had started coming out, and I was learning how to set up blogs. And then something called Google AdSense came out. And this was, I don't know, 2002, 3, 4. I don't have the years exactly right around there. But Google AdSense came out. When Google AdSense came out, it was this little snippet of code that you could put on your website, and Google would change the ads on there. It would show like 3 or 4 ads. Google would change them to match whatever the content on your page was. So if you had a page about cats, it would show you ads that had to be like cat trees, cat houses, you know, cat food. But if you had a page about snowboarding, it would show you, snowboard boots, snowboard, snowboard gear, snowboards, and it would automatically change the content based on what was on the page. So what I did was I went to my clients and I said, hey, I've got this new idea to get our sites ranked better, and instead of you paying me, can I just put this code on the site that advertises this, and then I'll make whatever money I make from that. They agreed, and I put this code out on a bunch of our sites. Now, a few days passed, and I forgot to check if it was making any money. I went in to check, and it had made $300. And at the time, I'm thinking, wait, $300? Are you kidding me? That's crazy good money. Now, that sounds weird, but in a few days' work, $300, it's like $100 a day. That's like $3,000 a month. I mean, that was crazy good money for me. That was like I could upgrade my, move out of my house, upgrade and everything. So it was a few $100s, right? To me, that was exciting. I don't know where you're at in your business, but to me, I was flat out excited to be making a few $100. But I got nervous. I said, wait a minute, I didn't do anything. All I did was put these ads up and I'm making money. Something's probably wrong. So I got sketched out. And it's funny, I got sketched out. I took down all the ads and I spent an entire day reading through all the terms of service of Google. I wanted to make sure that this was real money that I really was going to get, that I could spend, that I wasn't doing something wrong. Okay? And I checked about click fraud and all this stuff, and I made sure my stuff was above board, and then I re-released it, but this time I used better ads and I put them on all my sites. Next thing you know, my first month there, I made $3,000. That was my first full month with AdSense. The next month, $10,000. The next month, $20,000. So here I was, this kid living in this 250 square foot studio, 3 months later to making $20,000 a month, and I didn't even know how it was happening because I couldn't see if products were selling. I wasn't selling anything. I was just putting snippets of codes on websites, but I was getting these websites ranked in Google. And so there's a lot of traffic, and I guess people were clicking on them. But I had no way to really tell what was happening, and I was just getting this money. And I'm telling you, man, that check would come. I would cash that check, and I would not even put it in the bank. I'm like, I just keep that cash. I'm like, I just want to make sure that nobody's taking this from me. This is real. This is amazing. Then here came the big pivotal point for me in network marketing. I was so busy trying to build this network marketing business that I didn't have time to focus on my web business. But my web business now is making 10 to 20 grand a month. My network marketing business is losing me about $1,000 a month. So even though I'm making a few thousand a month, I'm spending that much going to conferences and buying books and tapes and seminars and all that kind of stuff and products, okay? And I was the kind of guy that would like buy extra products to try to reach the next level. So I like had a garage full of like the weirdest stuff like water filtration units and soap and vitamins and all kinds of crazy stuff. I was all trying to figure it out back in the day. So I made a gutsy move. Me and my girlfriend and my best friend and his girlfriend, I went to my best friend and I said, look, I'll teach you everything I know about what I'm doing. We just got to move out of this city. We got to move far enough away that we don't have to go to these local meetings anymore. We got to move far enough away. We don't have to show up and be part of this, you know? So we chose to move 3 hours away to a city called Roseville, California, which is where I currently live today. And this city was just the nicest city we could find that was close enough to come back and visit family, but far enough away that we didn't have to drive to the weekly meetings. And we just told everybody we were expanding our business out to the Sacramento area, and you know that's why we were gone. But really, what we did was we stayed. We had found, and this is my best lesson for you right now. And this applies to dark post profits. This applies to Facebook advertising. This applies to everything. My first major lesson that I really kicked off as an entrepreneur was this. This is my big one. This was my breakthrough lesson. We had struck gold. We had found a way to be able to print money, essentially, to build up these websites, to be able to place ads on them, to get them ranked. Traffic was coming in from Google for free, and people were a certain percentage of those would click ads, and we would get money. And not just any money, but like, $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month in money. Crazy good money. What we did was when we struck gold, we cut out everything and we focused. That didn't mean we were never going to do network marketing again. George was into real estate investing. That didn't mean he was going to do real estate stuff. We weren't giving stuff up forever. In the moment, we buckled down and we had figured it out. We had cracked the code, and we got in and we took advantage of that opportunity and went on to make 6 figures. Made 6 figures as an affiliate, selling Amazon stuff. Made 6 figures from Google AdSense. Just made a bunch of money really quick. Now, those are called the AdSense days and the AdWords days. I never got in the AdWords business. That was where you actually paid money to get your site listed up in the top of the search engines and selling stuff. I wish I would have got there. Sounds like people just made a killing there. I was on the AdSense guy. I was a blogger, an SEO guy that had these ads. So there was a gold rush. And these days, which was like 2002, 3, 4, I don't know when it died, maybe 5, somewhere around there, those Google AdSense and Google AdWords days, internet marketers are still talking about those today. Those were the gravy train days, and when there's a trend, when there's an opportunity, you jump and get in front of it, okay? Now, here we are, fast forward, I'll come back to that story, but fast forward years later, here we are with dark post advertising on Facebook. Here we are with the ability to sell stuff in the Facebook newsfeed. And there's guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, who's out there. He's a guy who wrote a book, Crush It. He's wrote a lot of books. And Gary Vaynerchuk's very popular in this space, big motivational speaker. Even Gary is comparing dark post advertising today to those Google AdSense and Google AdWords days back there in the early 2000s. He's comparing them. Even he is saying it's like this new gold rush is emerging again, where now dark post advertising is becoming the best way to advertise your business, the best way to sell products, the best way to do things. So there's this revolutionary shift that's happening again. And years later, when I saw that these dark post ads were this revolutionary shift, I did the same thing that I did with my business back then. I buckled down. I have a lot of income sources. I have a lot of things I'm doing years later, right? I've got kids now and a family, but still, I dialed down and I said, there's a gold rush right now for those that get it. There's a gold rush for those, if you just open your eyes, there's a gold rush. Now, if you're like me back then, I didn't know. I had to learn everything myself. I had to learn how to design websites. I had to learn how to optimize them in the search engines. I had to learn which code was the best to put in. I had to do trial and error. Why were some sites working and some sites weren't? Why would I spend a whole week doing something that would flop and then I'd spend 5 minutes doing something that would succeed? It was a bunch of trial and error, right? There wasn't all these sites out back then teaching you how to do it, okay? So if you don't know how to do this, if you don't know how to do dark post ads, if you don't know how to capitalize on this trend, you just know there is a trend and you want to get in front of it right now and you want to make money and you want to be there, because a decade from now they're going to be looking back and they're going to say, who were the fortunate ones that were capitalizing on this? Who were the fortunate ones that were there when Facebook released these new advertising tools, back when it was wide open and you could do almost anything, because eventually it'll probably get really strict, right? Who was there? Who was there when you could sell all these t-shirts in the newsfeed before it got too cluttered? Who was there when you could sell affiliate products back and forth before it got cluttered? Who was there when you could recruit anybody? You could recruit 1,000 people direct to you in a network marketing company, in almost any network marketing company. Who was there? Who was there when every single time, as a real estate agent, every single time you got a listing, you could promote that effectively in the Facebook newsfeed and be able to find buyers and get sellers and get people listing their house with you? Who was there? Who was there? And you want to be not just the person, the guy or girl that was there, but you don't want to be the person who watched it happen. You want to be the person who positioned themselves right in front of this trend, took massive action, learned everything you could, learned through your own mistakes, learned through other people's mistakes, and finally cracked the code. You finally get it, just like me, where one day, boom, it shifts, and it shifts. And when that shift happens, it's game on. Because once you get a taste, once you get just a taste of the piece of the pie, and for me, that taste with Dark Post Profits came on a simple little t-shirt design. I'm going to share that in a minute. I'm going to actually share the details of that in a minute, but the quick version is my favorite team, football team, is the San Francisco 49ers. See, I'm wearing gear here. Well, this is Giants, but the San Francisco 49ers, their stadium that they played at, when I grew up watching the San Francisco Giants, they played at Candlestick Park. And then the 49ers played at Candlestick Park, right, before they got the new stadiums. So Candlestick Park is this historical park that people loved. So when I saw on the news that Candlestick Park was going to be shut down, this was the final season there, and I started seeing fans in the audience wearing shirts that said, "Farewell Candlestick," right? When I started seeing that, I thought to myself, well, you know what, I should make a shirt that says "Farewell Candlestick," that has like an outline of the park or something. It's a generic shirt. I should make a shirt like that, advertise it to fans of the 49ers, and sell it in the newsfeed. Now, I had not really sold much in the newsfeed. I was new to dark posts. My background was in building up big fan pages into the tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and selling stuff on fan pages, right? And also using the chat method and, you know, recruiting people the old school way, like where you'd go have conversations and then, you know, tell them about your business and pitch them using icebreakers. But now here was this idea that I could just target these people, throw up an ad, and let them decide if they want to buy or not. I didn't have to talk to anybody. I didn't have to close anybody. I didn't have to, you know, follow up with anybody. I didn't really have to do anything. All I had to do was design a good enough picture that caught their attention and have it go to a page where they could buy something. My only risk was I had to spend money for all those clicks, and I had to hope that I made a profit when they bought the shirt. So in a minute, I'll kind of show you, I'll break down that as one of the examples, but I spent several $1,000s in ads, but that shirt ended up making $15,000, $20,000 or whatever, and then I ran it again and again. People were buying it like crazy. In fact, one of my buddies, Lee, is like, "Why did you stop running the shirt?" I'm like, "I don't know, we ran it like 3 times. He's like, "But why did you stop? People are still buying it." And it was like an epiphany. I'm like, you know, why did I stop? I just thought, like, the stadium's not around anymore. Why would people want to buy it? But people were still buying it at a profit. And Lee's like, "Dude, it's still selling at a profit, and you just stopped." I guess I just stopped, you know? It was all new to me. But when I got that taste, I made a shift. I'm going to transition all my business to the newsfeed during this gold rush, because I believe one day it'll be cluttered. One day it'll be very strict advertising guidelines. One day Facebook will start, you know, jumping in and making a lot of rules that make it difficult to accomplish what we can accomplish today. Right now, it's sort of the wild, wild west when it comes out there. People are experimenting left and right. Someone comes up with an idea, and it's like, boom, that idea takes off like a tidal wave into the Facebook sphere, whatever you want to call it, to internet marketers, right? So right now it's this wild, wild west where nobody really knows the best idea or how long it'll last, but what people know is that never before in history have we ever had the opportunity to reach these kind of targeted people this fast with this much data to be able to know if something's at a profit or a loss right away. Never before in history has this opportunity been so amazing that you could do it in your pajamas at home, dressed however you want. There's nobody's going to ask you for your college degree. Nobody cares you dropped out of high school. Nobody cares what you look like. None of this kind of stuff. Nobody cares. If you learn this skill, the average person can do it. From the successful CEO at a company to the stay-at-home mom that just has an hour a day aside from her kids. Anybody can do it. It's a skill that could be learned. That's what I love about this. That's what I love about this. So to wrap up my story, what happened back then was I got my taste. From there, back in the early to mid-2000s, I jumped back into real estate, jumped into network marketing, bounced around a bunch, but at least no matter how much bouncing around I did in different opportunities, still have made you know, a lot of money. It's been 6 and 7 figures, you know, over and over and over that time frame. It's just been it's been a fun ride, and I've been able to help a lot of people have success. And my goal is I'm a coach, I'm a trainer. Okay, my goal, I learn this stuff, I devour the information so that I can take it and break it down to you. Take it and break it down in a way that can be easy to understand for you. So that's my story, you know, in summary there for those of you that just jumped on. By the way, the numbers have doubled on this thing. We got a lot of people on with us tonight, and you can only view this if you own the product, so that's saying a lot. I don't know how many people have bought the product. It's somewhere around 700, 800 people, something like that, have bought the product at our intro pricing. The price of this product, once it's all together, all the modules are up, the mastermind's up, once we start seeing results, this product will probably sell for, you know, about $1,000, and a lot of people will pay that price gladly for this information when they see the results that we're all getting. So you're an early bird. You're here early on. And, you know, for those of you that just missed the story, you could go back and you could watch it again, but here's what we've established. We're at the right place at the right time with dark post advertising. I showed a story, I painted a story about how I found myself in the right place at the right time with Google AdWords and Google AdSense, and I capitalized on that. And now here we are a ways later, a decade later, and the opportunities emerged again with Facebook dark post advertising. And what I've done this time is not only used it myself, but this time I put together what I believe is a comprehensive course. It's not the only one. You'll probably end up getting other courses. I'm not claiming to be the best. I'm claiming to be a student just like you, but I've got things that are working, and I'm willing to share them. And I'm not claiming to be the best, right? What I am is I'm a teacher. If I wake up in the morning and I want to do something, I want to train, I want to share, I want to bring others along. I'm not the kind of person. Someone asked me the other day, well, Chris, you know all this stuff. Why would you teach other people? It would just create competition. Because that's not me. I'm not the. I can't keep a secret. You know, even when I cracked the code on Google AdSense back in the day, first thing I did was I went to my buddy and said, I'll show you what to do. I'll spend my time teaching you. I didn't make a dime off him. I didn't override anything. I just wanted to bring people along. That's why I've always liked network marketing. Even if you don't like network marketing, it doesn't matter. I've always liked it because I've always liked bringing people along. I've always liked having the ability to help other people to be able to learn stuff and have breakthroughs. So to me, that's why I teach this stuff. To me, that's why I'm doing this, is because I love it. And if I lay my head down at the end of the night, one of the things that makes me sleep well, one of the things that makes me excited is if I know that I'm helping people get results. So that's my goal with Dark Post Profits, is to help you capitalize on this trend the best you can.